Hello everybody, this is Caitlin with the Twinsburg Library here for lesson 2 of our 3-part series on how to play the ukulele. So in today's session, we're going to learn all about making chords. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add these little helpers to them. If you don't want to use those, that's perfectly fine. If you think you can figure it out without it, go ahead and fast forward to this time in the video and you can go ahead and get started. If you do want to use it, it makes it a little bit easier and faster for you to learn. I'll show you how to do it right now. So you can find those in the lesson book that you have if you registered. If you didn't, you can go ahead and download it below in the description yet again. And what we're going to do is you're going to turn to page 4. Looks like that, and we're going to cut out all 3 of these strips so it looks a little like that, and we're going to tape it around the neck of our ukulele. I'm going to do that one on my rainbow ukulele. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the first one for the first fret, which is the very first gap right here. We're going to take the one that has the yellow and the purple, and we're going to go ahead and slide it in so that the ones are facing the correct way like you're reading it right now. We're going to slide that all the way so that both the yellow and the purple dots are under this second string. It's the E string. So the second string from this side, it's the 3rd string if you're holding it this way. And then we're going to wrap it around the back, and you want to wrap it super, super, super tight as you possibly can, because otherwise if it's loose, you're going to run into the issue of it touching the strings, and it's going to make a weird buzzing sound, and we don't want that. So just make sure it's super tight and it'll look like that. Beautiful. All right, and then the next one is the one that has all kinds of dots in it. It's the one that has the most polka dots on it. And what we're going to do is we want the green and the yellow dots to be all the way to the top string like this. The first string when you're holding it like this. So it should look like that. So that way you have the green and yellow on one side and purple and blue on the other. And do the same thing. Wrap it around the back like that and make it as tight as you can. And this isn't meant to be on there forever. This is just supposed to help you while you're learning, and then once your fingers have it memorized, you can go ahead and take this off, no problem. All right, and then obviously the last one is this one, and we want that red dot to be on the bottom string like that, like you're holding it there. The red one is down there, and there we go. We're gonna tape that. Again, make sure it's super, super, super tight, as tight as you can make it. You might want to bend along the sides, and there you go. Now you have a little way to help. Before we start playing our actual chords, I want you to go ahead and make sure your ukulele is in tune so it sounds all nice and pretty. If you don't remember how to tune your ukulele, you can go ahead and rewatch video 1, so that way it'll walk you through that again if you need a little quick reminder. But once your ukulele is all in tune, like this one is here, we can go ahead and get started. And before we start using our ukulele, we're going to use our fingers and talk a little bit about fingers that are now weirdly colored for a reason. So go ahead and turn to page 10 in your lesson book. It looks like this, got the kind of giant green Hulk hand. If you noticed, I've numbered our fingers. You guys already know the numbers of fingers, just count them out with me. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. Nice and easy. Now I have colored my fingers because that is just another way that we can help keep them organized, because you want to make sure when you're pressing on the strings you're using the right finger, and we'll explain more about that later. So you just need to know that number 1 is yellow, number 2 is green, number 3 is blue, number 4 is red. We don't use our pinky very often. Those are only for like really, really, really complicated chords. We're not even going to use that one today, but so what we're going to work on is just 1, 2, and 3, yellow, green, and blue. Easy as that. All right, let's move on. Now that we have all of our fingers ready, the first thing we need to know is what a chord is. A chord is actually a group of notes. So if you play one string, that's a note. If you play multiple strings, that's a chord. Easy enough. So when we're playing chords, it means we are going to use all of our strings together, but we're going to change how long they are by pressing them down on the frets. So what happens, I want you guys to give this a try. We're going to go ahead and just use our first finger, our yellow finger, and I want you guys to play the bottom string. Just play it open. Like that. And now we're going to go ahead and use our first finger and push on the first fret. Now when you're pressing on it, you want to make sure you use the tip. Remember, we got those Lego hands, so we're always going to use the tip of our fingers, very, very tip. You'll actually see a line on your finger if you're doing it right. And you're going to put it just above the bar that you're working with. So you can see you don't want to put it in the middle. You don't want to put it on the fret. That's really bad. You want to put it right above it, like that. So we're gonna have to go press that one and listen to it. Sounds a lot higher. Now if we move up one, it's even higher. Up one, up one. It gets higher and higher as we move it up because we're making those strings shorter and shorter, which makes things higher. You can do that on any string you want. You can do it on the top string. Like that. You can go all the way up and make it super duper high. Just like that. And that's what we're doing when we're doing the chords, is we're just making the strings shorter with our fingers so it makes different sounds. Like that. All right. Now, when you're pressing, you're doing your little practice. Sometimes if you're not holding it quite right, it's going to sound dead. Like that. That doesn't sound like anything, right? You want to make sure you're not touching the strings with any of your other fingers. Make sure you're touching it right on that sweet spot. So sometimes it takes a little bit of rocking in order to get it to work. So you move your finger around and you'll find that special sweet spot to get it to work. All right, so now we're gonna learn our first chord. So go ahead and turn to page 12. It looks like this. And this is a chord chart. So this is the C chord. Now you can see if you're using the little helpers, the color of the chord, so this one's red is the C chord, is the color of the dots you need to press. So you can see this one's red. I only have to press one finger on this one spot on this red dot. Easy enough. And if you're not, we'll go over that right now. So the chord chart has a thick bar across the top. That is your nut that we learned from before. Remember, that's the nut. And then these are the frets. So you can see, and then obviously these 4 lines are your strings. So it's like if you put your ukulele just like this. So for the C chord, you can see we've got the 3, which is our 3rd finger, our blue finger, on the 1, 2, 3rd fret of the A string. So we're just gonna kind of go 1, 2, 3, 3rd fret, A string, and then you're gonna go ahead and press it down with your 3rd finger. So it's a little tough, it feels a little weird. Remember to keep your thumb in the middle of the back to make sure it stretches right. And then you're just gonna go ahead and strum all of them. It's always a good idea to test to make sure that whatever string you're holding down is making a nice clear sound. Because otherwise, if it doesn't sound good, you're not gonna be making the chord correctly. So let's go ahead and try it again. We're gonna press the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the bottom A string. And there you go, a nice, easy C chord. All right, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit. I'm not gonna go over all of the other chords just yet. We're actually just gonna go ahead and play our first song. So if you go ahead and turn to page 14, we're gonna play Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Now, as you can see in this song, you see the C. That's the chord we have to play along with the lyrics. And you see these little dashes. That just means for every dash is a strum. So we're just gonna go down strums on all the parts. So when you say row, it's gonna be a C chord, row, row. We're just gonna go down strums all the way. Every strum after that letter is going to be the same chord. So if you look a little bit ahead, the first line of this one is F, and all of those are Fs. Next one is C, all of those are Cs. Easy enough. Now, I know you guys probably all know the song Row, Row, Row Your Boat. I like to sing it a little bit differently. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna sing it for you. Now I want you guys to notice that down here, I have a clap. So that means that's a clap, and that dash is also a clap. So we're gonna go ahead and clap at that part because that would be a different chord that we're not ready for yet. So we're just gonna do the Cs. So go ahead and get our fingers all ready on the C chord, if you remember. And we're gonna say, row, row, row your boat quickly down the stream. But if you see an alligator, don't forget to scream. Ah! I love that version of it. All right, so now that you guys get the idea, let's sing it the regular way, so that way you guys can play along with me. All right, we'll do it really, really slow. Ready? I'll count us up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Easy peasy. So you can sing it the regular way or the fun way where you get to scream, which is my favorite way. There you go. And don't forget, if you want to keep playing the song and if you're having a hard time, you can always make it slower down below in the settings. If you hit that little gear, click that, go to speed playback preference, and you can slow it down or speed it up, or whatever you can do to keep learning. All right, let's learn another chord. All right, now we're gonna move and do the next chord that we're gonna learn. We're gonna turn to page 13 and we're gonna work on the F chord. And if you're using our little helpers, you can see that the F chord is in yellow. So that means it's going to be the yellow dots on our ukulele. Now let's go ahead and walk us through reading the chord chart. So we've got the third string from your head, the E string. You're gonna put your first finger, our yellow finger, on. And then the top string, our G string, is going to be held down by our second finger, our green finger, on the second fret. So that's going to look a little bit like this. Now it takes a little bit of a stretch, especially if you have little hands, but that's okay. That's why we always have our thumb in the middle of the back of our ukulele, so that way you can stretch it. We're going to test our strings. And we're all good to go. So now we can play an F chord. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and play a song with our F chord. So we're gonna go ahead and play The Yellow Submarine. So this one is tricky because we're gonna have to switch in between the F chord and that C chord that we learned. So I want you guys to practice that real quick. We're gonna play the F chord and then switch back to the C chord. Switch back. It's gonna be kind of hard, so you might want to practice that a little bit before you're ready for the song. All right? Well, we're gonna go ahead and start. So we're gonna start super duper slow. So if you look at the song, we're gonna play the F 4 times, the C 4 times, another C 4 times, and the F 4 times. And then you can repeat it if you want to. All right? So let's start, and we're going to go nice and slow, starting on our F chord. Get those fingers ready. Ready? We're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. We all live in a yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. That's what it sounds like. So let's go ahead and try it again, and I'll call out when we have to switch our fingers. Are you ready? We're going to say on our F, 1, 2, 3, 4. We all live in a switch. Yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Switch. Yellow submarine. There you go. And again, don't forget you can always slow it down if you want to and below. All right, let's move on to our last one that we're going to do in the video. We're going to do the Lion Sleeps Tonight, because Skip to My Lou is actually the exact same chords and the exact same rhythm as Yellow Submarine. So if you're not feeling Yellow Submarine, you can also do Skip to My Lou, or Skip to My Lou, and we're going to work on Lion Sleeps Tonight, which has our C, our F, but it also has our G7. So we're going to go ahead and swing back, and we're going to look at the G7 chord, which is going to be our purple chord. So it's the last chord on page 13. So if we take a look at it, we've got our first yellow finger on the third string from the top. It is going to be on the first fret, and then we've got 2 fingers on the same fret, so it gets a little bit tricky. So you've got your second finger or green finger on the C chord, which is chord 2, and then we've got our third finger or blue finger on the bottom chord on fret 2. So that is going to look a little like this. So we've got our first finger on that purple one on the second string, we've got that one on the second string and our third one on the bottom string. So it looks a little crappy, and that's why we always have our finger stretches that we can do, stretch them out, shake them out, because it gets a little cramped in such a small space. And let's go ahead and make sure we've got our strings sounding perfect. Beautiful! Check yours, and then go ahead and give it a strum. There you go. So that is our G7 chord, and now we're ready to sing The Lion Sleeps Tonight. So if you notice, I have a strum pattern up here. It's down, down, up, down, down. Don't worry about that just yet. You always want to learn songs in stages. So first you want to learn the chords, then you want to learn the rhythm by just going ahead and playing at the rhythm of the song, and then you can add some fancy strums in later. You always want to start easy and then make it more difficult as you go on. So we're just going to do the chords. You guys ready? So I'm going to start with the C. Ready? We're going to say, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. A wee mo wet, 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 a wee mo wet. And there you go. Don't forget, you can always go ahead and slow down the video, and that would do it at the speed that you're comfortable with, and slowly speed it up. Just like that. And don't be afraid to play it over and over and over and over again, because that's how you get it perfect. But there you go. Those are some cool songs that you can play. Now, if you guys want to hear what it sounds like with a cool, different strum, let's give it a try. So the strum is going to be down, down, up, down, down. So every chord that we're going to play, so with C, F, C, G7, every time we play the chord, we're going to play that strum pattern on there. And I'll show you what that sounds like. Don't worry if you can't do that now. This is going to be something that you're going to slowly play as you get better and better. So we're going to say, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. A wee mo wet, 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 a wee mo wet. And then you can keep going. Now don't forget, if you want to play that part along with me, slow it down and play along. And there we go. We've got the chords, and that's plenty of songs and things to keep you busy for this week until we are ready for the final lesson next week, week 3, and we will see you then. Hope you guys are enjoying it, and stick with it and keep rocking out. See you guys next video. Bye.